Good Wednesday afternoon to you, buddy. Welcome to a special edition of AnglerChannel.com video. We got Pro Staffer Rob Digh with us here on Wednesday, March the 20th. And Robbie, this weekend, a lot of tournaments in action, obviously, that we're really excited to talk about today. You're going up to Jordan to fish the Carolinas Bass Challenge. We got the Angler's Choice Marine Team Trail is going to be at Gaston. They're doing a two-day event up there where the North Carolina division can fish on Saturday and the Virginia division fishes on Sunday. I think that's kind of a neat angle. And then we've got the Bassmaster Elite Series down on that little small lake, Falcon Lake. I mean, there's a few fish in that lake. But before we get to all that, we want to talk about, and I'm sure many of you have seen this, you're starting to see boats scroll across the top of the screen on anglerchannel.com, and this has been something we've been working on for a while. And what it is, it's a big database of boat dealerships that we've put together where their entire inventory is loaded up into our website daily, automatically, so you can go in and search for whatever type of boat you're looking for without going to 10 different sites. And obviously a lot of bass boats on there because we cover a lot of bass fishing tournaments, but there's some pontoons and other boats of nature like that on there. And Robbie, I just showed it to you. I mean, you can't miss it now when you get on the site. It scrolls across the top of the screen, and every time a boat dealer updates their inventory, we get updated too.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, John. Your site's so good. You can go to your site and you can get everything you need. I mean, you got the whole lineup, and with the boats, you got great pictures and a lot of good deals on there. I suggest anybody looking for a boat, check it out.
Well, buddy, I appreciate it, and let's get to business. I mean, everybody's talking about tournaments this weekend. We're going to start off with that Angler's Choice Marine Team Trail up on Gaston Lake. They got a North Carolina division fishing Saturdays, Virginia division fishing Sunday. Gaston's a pretty good lake. You know, they had a North Carolina division event on High Rock about 2 weeks ago that really struggled because High Rock in February is just extremely tough. But I expect to see better weights up on Gaston this weekend, and they'll have a big crowd there.
Oh, definitely. Gaston's a great lake. You know, it's a little bit far north, John. The fish are still going to be staging. A lot of guys, some lakes they're done bedding, but the lake's a little far north, so the fish are going to be staging, and there's going to be some dirty water in the lake, so you're going to see some really nice fish come out of there. It's going to be in the 20s, John. I'm going to say mid-20s is what it's going to take to win that tournament, and the crankbait and the jig is going to be my guess.
Well, I tell you what, that wouldn't surprise me at all, and we're going to pay very close attention to it because, again, the numbers are going to be good. And there are a lot of tournaments going to Gaston this year, so we need to watch that one. We got a big event on Chickamauga. The Chattanooga Bass Association has their event, every couple of weeks on that lake, and we were just talking, that lake is on fire. And it really has been for 2-3 years, but the start they've gotten off to this year is just amazing.
John, I've never been to that lake. That's a lake that's on my do list, and it's not that far from here. I'm always going to Santee or somewhere else, but there's been so much publicity and so many big fish been coming out of Chickamauga. It's hard to say what it's going to take up there this weekend. This is going to be a great weekend to be on it. And with the grass, is a comeback of that lake. For many years, that lake struggled. When the grass started coming back, it just, the bass just flourished. And it's a good example of what other lakes can do with a little bit of grass. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Well, the CBA will have a big turnout. They got a great participation level up there. We're going to scoot down to South Georgia. You got the Oconee Marine event on Oconee, which is a lake a lot of people don't know a ton about. But, one thing I know for sure is with all this rain, it's probably a very dirty lake as it tends to stay dirty.
Yeah, it does. It's a little smaller lake, a little smaller reservoir, and the fish aren't quite a bit as big in it, but it's got a lot of fish. So, 15 to 14 pound range would be my guess on that lake, John. And like I say, the water's going to be dirty, so spinnerbait's going to be an excellent choice for those guys down there. And, they'll draw a great crowd because, we're already in the third week of March, and this is prime time bass fishing. So you got to be on the water to catch them.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Now, we're going to go to another lake that we do expect to see some massive lunkers caught each day, and that's Falcon Lake. The Bassmaster Elite Series is there. And, we got a lot of guys in this area that are fishing the elites. Hank Cherry, who had a pretty doggone good finish on the Sabine River. Andy Montgomery, Britt Myers. I mean, we can go on and on. There are a lot of guys around here that are fishing the elites. But as Andy Montgomery told me at the Great Outdoors a couple weeks ago, there's just no margin for error when you're fishing with those guys. And Andy had a rough go of it at Sabine River, and he knew immediately that if he didn't get a decent sack, just 6, 7, 8 pounds on day one, he was cooked. And sure enough, he was, because there were 10 other guys that did. So Falcon Lake, different challenge. The weights are going to be much higher. Do you swing for the fences more on something like that? Or, half that lake's in Mexico. I mean, how does all that work?
Yeah, John, it's a tough sea. You got to have special insurance to even go down to Mexico. So, yeah, I mean, he can make up a lot of ground. A lot of other guys, that looked like an extremely tough tournament for a lot of people. And, just a handful of guys caught them. So, yeah, you can make some ground up at the Lake Falcon. And from what I'm hearing, Falcon's fishing tough. And I've never been there. I've fished Mexico quite a bit, but I hadn't been to Falcon. And, a lot of gill netting going on down there, a lot of people keeping fish, but you're still going to see some very large fish come out of there, and it's going to take a big weight to win. So, just because one tournament, it can't put you out. You can progressively build your way back up the leader points, and this tournament here would be a great tournament to do it. But it's going to be interesting to see what kind of fish are brought in starting tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be fun to watch that. Now, we're going to come back up this way. We've got the Carolinas Bass Challenge is going to Jordan Lake, which is just south of Raleigh, North Carolina. And, Robbie, you expect to see that's a North Carolina division event. It's going to be a big crowd. We've always said there's some really good quality in Jordan, but there's not a lot of fish on Jordan, which is going to make that tournament a challenge.
John, there is a lot of fish in there. It's just there's a lot of fishermen. And it's a small lake, so they're spread around, and it's a great lake, but it fishes tough, a lot of pressure, and any cast is a 10-pounder up there, and the fish are so healthy. It's unbelievable how healthy that lake is. But last weekend it took around 19 to win, 15 on another tournament. It's going to take about the same this week, somewhere around 20 pounds. But if you get 2 bites, you can make a check.
Well, that's going to be the goal for everybody, because when you make a check at the CBC, yep, it usually is not $100.
That's right. It's a good check.
It's a really, really good check. Well, hey, buddy, we wish you the best up there. And, folks, obviously, as Robbie said, this is prime time bass fishing season. And if you're not fishing a tournament, we're sure that you will be soon. If you're out on the water, be safe. Robbie, best of luck to you up there. Best of luck to all the anglers fishing this weekend, and we'll see you next week.